Hello, and welcome to the Emotional Endurance Movement, where we talk about all of life's lemons and how we are coping with them. I am Laurie Sharp Page, and I'm here with my co-host, Crimson McDonald. Hello.
Howdy.
I got a question. It's about time travel.
What?
Specifically, if you could go back in time and protect your energy in a time when you were burning out, what would you say or do or ask yourself to do differently? What do you wish someone would have even told you?
Okay. Repeat. In a time, go you repeat.
If you could go back and protect your energy in a time when you were burning out, what would you do or say to yourself to do differently? And what do you wish someone had said to you? I think it's all kind of the same. Is there anything, any any changes or insight you would give your past self about how you protect your energy during a period when you weren't protecting it very well?
Oh, the number one thing, and this is something you just have to learn in the moment, is that you'll get through it. That you will get
Yeah.
through it. And not in the
Yeah.
toxic positivity way of like, everything happens for a reason. No, everything just happens. I mean,
Good vibes only.
yeah, my daughter left the house today, like hysterical because she couldn't find her good vibes t-shirt. Anyhow, so like
Bad
no, but
vibes.
I think that like yeah, like you when you're in it and everything, and I remember, grad school, for example, right? Like grad school is really freaking hard. And my program specifically, because of my personality, my just like completely engaging in things to the utmost was probably a little bit more intense, but like if I could go back, I would have just like not bitched about it and like just you know what I mean, just like flourish in the challenge of it, coped with it, like just appreciate it. And I remember when I was pregnant, I was never like being a mom was never like a dream until I wanted a kid. I didn't want a kid. And I remember because I was very like I mean, our kid was very wanted and planned and I remember thinking, like, I'm not going to repeat the mistake of grad school, which is take something I reflect on as such a great moment of like personal development, connection, and growth, and let the hardships of the realities of what I chose to do stop me from the joy of it. Like, and I think that just comes from when you've been through enough rodeos, you know you're going to come out the other end. And I can't say I live this today as much as I would like to say I do, but I do think as you get older, some of the resilience you build is because you know there's another side. You learn that. And from if you take this to organizational psychology and hiring and the dynamics you want to create in your team, looking for those people even within a young cohort, like helps you have confidence in their ability to weather the storm. I mean, we used to look at resumes for longevity, right? Like, and that was really, can they weather the downs with you? Are they only going to be on the ups with you and abandon when you go down? Because that's how business works. It's this ebbs and flows. And so, if you can hire someone that you know has been through some struggle, has been through the shit at whatever level. I mean, in some way, professionally, personally, you kind of can have more confidence in that person's loyalty to the project, to the organization. Like you, because you know it's building the reps, right? They're forced reps in this
Yeah.
case. Like it's not
Yeah.
you don't necessarily want to go through those challenge and build those reps, but you do it. You get through the other side, and then the next one hits, and you can, when you're consciously coping, you can look at it and say, there will be a tomorrow. There will be another side to this. I have to get through it. And I think that dialogue leads you to conscious coping more so than dysregulated behaviors.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we look at the neuroscience behind this and how this really can influence how we show up, the choice becomes pretty simple because I think we all know the mess of dysregulation and what it can cause in our life. And I want to talk about a form of dysregulation that a lot of people don't realize is dysregulation. And this is what I would go back in time and tell myself. And this really started when I became a manager of people, but it really amplified when I was the owner and founder of the practice. And that is people pleasing. People pleasing seems like an innocuous way to cope, but it is a very dangerous and dysregulated way to cope because what you are trying to do is to control the emotional responses of those around you so that you don't have to deal with the discomfort of those around you having emotional responses. Now, when I say it like that, it seems like, well, yeah, no duh, but I want you to remember that psychological safety is a dynamic thing. And often we feel that if people like us, then we're psychologically safe with them. And I think a lot of managers and owners and leaders fall into this trap, which is trying to get the people that work for you to like you. It's validating. It makes you feel more secure that people will be loyal and will stay with the organization. And I do think there's some ego mixed up into it as well. The problem is that people pleasing in any form, but particularly in a business, is not scalable. In fact, it's going to cause a lot of hardship. And so if I could go back in time, I would tell myself to quit the people pleasing and to get comfortable with the discomfort. Because eventually, when I chose to sell the practice and move on for something that was right for me and my mental health, I had to face the inevitable discomfort that other people's feelings and how it influenced them and impacted them, which are very real and important things in this conversation, made me feel, which was not great. Was not great. But I basically just kicked the can down the road until I really had to face it. And I think if I had used those opportunities to sit in the discomfort more, to build the resilience, to get comfortable saying, no, we can't do that, or that doesn't align with my vision or what's best for the organization or whatever it may be. That to me is the piece I missed, and it caused me so much hardship because I missed it, and it didn't empower my employees to learn how to cope more effectively with the natural challenges that we all face at work. Anytime you bring people together working in a group, there's going to be challenges. Hello, we've all had to do a group project before. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
But I allowed myself to be dysregulated in that way because of my own stuff that I was unwilling or resistant to unpacking during that time. And I wish if I had started, the best offense on this would have been if I started when I became a manager. And this is where I think we really abandon a lot of managers when they first become a manager, is we don't actually even talk about, let alone empower and equip them to understand the emotional impacts of managing a team and the boundaries and the natural desire to want, between the tension of wanting to be liked and respected by your team, which there's nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
and being able to make complex, challenging situations that maybe don't meet the individual members on your team, and because of that may cause more instability or flux in the system, and being more comfortable with that. If I could have been more empowered and equipped in that way, I think it would have saved me a lot of strife. And honestly, I think it would have impacted my bottom line as well. And the research shows that I was correct.
Well, and a part of people pleasing that doesn't get discussed, I guess it's because it's more from a behavioral standpoint, but people pleasing is extremely unhealthy also. I mean, for all the reasons you explain, but it also is disingenuous. I mean, we are at a
Yeah.
point socially where people want you to show up authentically. And if you're showing up to please, you're not showing up as your authentic self. And I think that's part
Right.
of the emotional endurance movement, doing the work. I think people are just like yearning. I mean, we're seeing it playing out in our political world, we're seeing it playing out culturally. People are yearning for authenticity. They
Right.
want to trust the voices around them. They want to believe that what people are saying is coming from them and authentically them. And so I think the sad part of the people pleasing that I've noticed with people that struggle with this, usually they're extremely brilliant and their light is extremely bright and it gets muted in the people pleasing. And
Mm-hmm.
if they felt confident in themselves of just saying it the way that they're thinking it, how accepted they would be, but they don't have that confidence to feel that way. But I don't have the research to back this. But my guess is that most of the time, authenticity is going to win over people pleasing. And it's the biggest. I think the authenticity you lose from the people pleasing is almost the bigger victim, because I genuinely believe when we show up as our authentic self, we're most likely to
That's where the
connect.
magic is.
It's where the connection is. If you're not vulnerably authentic in most situations, you're not going to get that back. And so it's never going to connect. It's just always going to feel void of something. And people pleasing is the culprit. I mean,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate because it's like, just be real. I'm going to be more likely to like what you have to
Yeah.
say in reality than you doing the mental gymnastics of trying to figure out what I expect from you in this moment.
Well, and I love that you brought this up, and I think we gotta call out a lemon in the room on this one too, because those of us that are able to do that, to show up authentically, are privileged to be able to do
Yeah.
so. Some people are not, they haven't actually had that experience. They've had to hide who they are
Yes.
for their lives, or pretend to be that they're somewhere different, or just don't have the emotional endurance. I saw this a lot in my therapy practice. Don't have the emotional endurance just to sit with their messy, imperfect self, and
Yes.
to allow that to be. And so I know that that's the challenging place here, but this is part of why Crimson and I are choosing to show up in this way and have these conversations in an informal way, because there is a lot of perfectionism
Yes.
that keeps people from actually showing up in a way that would really benefit their lives, their relationships, their communities, if they could allow themselves to unlock a little bit more of that authenticity
Hmm.
and do less of the performative behaviors or the dysregulated behaviors like people pleasing.
Yep. No, and we've talked about this before. I live in a small community. I'm an outsider, and a lot of people are like, I feel so comfortable up to you and being vulnerable to you, and I don't know why. And I think it's because I'm just kind of me. And they
Yeah, because
know,
you show up authentic.
I show
I mean,
up.
authenticity begets authenticity,
Yeah.
just like violence begets violence. Like
And I
the
think when you
way we
live
show up influences.
And when you live in the same community your whole life, I think you do get tied to expectations of who you were, and I think it's such a gift for so many people around me to be so connected to their community. And I think that this won't be, I don't think this is my kids' future. I think, this is part of the evolution of the next generation of our community, of being okay with being their authentic selves and
For sure.
not trying to stay in whatever box they put themselves in seventh grade or 10th grade, or, when they came back from college or whatever it may be. I just really think that that's something I'm going to give millennials credit for. I think they were the first generation to be like, no, like we're all struggling. Like you may look
Yeah.
perfect from the outside, but you're struggling. So just put it out there. Put your baggage out there,
Yeah.
because honestly, I can say this as a mom of a preteen turning into a teen. If I couldn't hear the stories of other moms going through it, if we were all just
Yeah.
acting like our kids were perfect and like, oh, they're getting awards at the thing, so of course they're great. Like if I lived in that world, I would go crazy. I'd be like, oh my God, my kid needs to go to like boot camp and like I'm a horrible mom. But like being vulnerable and having the discussions of like, oh my God, my kid's an asshole. What am I doing wrong? And I snapped and I wasn't my best self, and being able to have that conversation, it's like okay, we're all okay, because you know what? Like, I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's up, and I don't know what's down. I don't know what to expect. But like, I know we're all trying to figure this out. We're all in this mess. And so, vulnerability is always going to be the pathway to connection. And it's just about being real and truthful. And so, people pleasing, I think, is in conflict. I think it's almost a majority at minimum, if not everyone, is our go to. But if you can emotionally regulate yourself to say hard truths that are authentic to you, that you need to say, you usually get better results. But that's why you have to build the emotional endurance.
Absolutely.
You can't show up authentically if you aren't endurant.
Yeah, and this is where I want to throw a dose of compassion on this too, because most of the adults that I have seen that have become people pleasers come from households and childhoods where there wasn't a level of emotional ability, of availability,
Mm-hmm.
or emotions were seen as dangerous, or they had someone
Yes.
dysregulated in the house that they didn't want to trigger, or multiple people. So I think if you didn't get the reps in childhood, that's
Yes.
hard.
Mm-hmm.
I want to I level with you. I connect with you on that level. That is a hard thing. And I'm here to tell you that you can get the reps in now and you can live a
Yeah.
much more authentic, grounded life. It's not like the stuff makes it easy. It just makes it more likely that you're not making it harder on yourself by wasting your energy through avoidance or self-sabotage or through poor boundaries and expectations where you expect yourself to be able to modulate the emotional experience of everyone around you. Spoiler alert, you can't. Ask me how
No.
I know. That just is not in your skill set. So I do think part of this is having that compassion that those coping skills come from a place. There's behaviors that you've learned at some point in your life. They probably kept you safe at some point in your
Mm-hmm.
life. Please don't judge them, but they're not serving you now. It is time to let go of the people pleasing. Trust me, as a recovering people pleaser, it is a hard path, but it is well worth going down it. And I am happy to support you from afar. This was another great conversation at the Emotional Endurance Movement, Crimson. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining me.
Oh, no, thanks. This was fun. It's fun to talk about stuff people don't want to talk about, but need to.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's been so sweet talking about something so sour.
Oh, God. Here we go again. Okay. I love it. I love it. All
All
right.
right. Thank you so
Peace
much.
out.
Have a good day. Bye.
Have an endurant day.